Hey guys, it's Jansen here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be discussing Facebook ads for beginners. Now, until about 3 months ago, I'm not afraid to admit it, I was an absolute beginner with Facebook ads. There was something that I dabbled with a bit when I was trying to advertise my Amazon product online. But to be completely honest with you, I got it wrong. I spent a load of money on the wrong types of ads and the wrong type of campaigns and didn't get any sales. So I thought, do you know what? This isn't working. I'm going to leave it. Then a couple of months ago, I thought Facebook ads is probably something that I do need to learn. So I took a few courses. I spent hours and hours on YouTube learning all about it. And now after lots of testing, I do feel like I have got a good grasp and a good understanding of how Facebook ads work. So good news for you guys, I'm going to condense all of that knowledge into one video here so that if you haven't got any knowledge about Facebook at all, any knowledge of how the ads work, well, this is going to be a great video to teach you the very basics of how Facebook ads are structured and basically the key terms and terminology that you'll probably come across if you do start to advertise on Facebook. Now, as always, guys, if this is something that you find valuable, if it's something that you enjoy, please remember to give me a thumbs up and, of course, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more things like this. So let's jump into the computer now. What I'm going to do is basically just summarize all the basics of Facebook ads, the things that you really need to know if you're going to advertise on one of the biggest and the best advertising platforms in the world. So as soon as you start to advertise on Facebook, you are going to become very familiar with these three here: the campaign, the ad set, and the ad itself. So the campaign itself is where you let Facebook know what the actual goal of your advert is. Now, depending on the reason why you're watching this video now, maybe you're a shop owner, or maybe you're building a brand, or you've got a new website that you just want to attract people to. Well, this is kind of where you're separated when you start to advertise on Facebook. So Facebook allows you to choose a number of different goals, and those can be engagement, which basically means that you want to advertise on Facebook. You want to put a post on Facebook for people to see, for them to like, comment, and share. So basically to engage with your advert on Facebook itself. You can then also tell Facebook that you want your advert to basically attract people to click on it, to get them to visit your website. Or you can tell Facebook that you want the person that sees your advert to click on your website and to make a purchase. Now, the reason that it's important to tell Facebook what type of campaign you're running is so that Facebook knows what type of person to show your advert to. So, for example, Facebook has got billions of users, it's got a huge amount of data on them, and it knows exactly which users are more likely to like, comment, and share on an advert, which users are more likely to click on an advert and possibly buy, and so on and so forth. So basically, when you tell Facebook the aim of your campaign, it will determine from that already a type of user that is most likely going to like your advert, in terms of they're going to like on it if that's what you want, or comment on it if that's what you're after, or click on the website and buy, and something like that. So that's why that's important. Then the next part of your Facebook ad is going to be the ad set. Now, we've told Facebook what the goal of our ad is. Now, the ad set is where we tell Facebook basically what type of audience we want to see our advert. Now, this is something that did confuse me when I first started advertising on Facebook. I was kind of thinking, well, surely you just set a campaign and then that's it. Well, the key thing about Facebook advertising is all about testing. You have got absolutely no idea what type of customer is interested in clicking on your ad or buying your product or anything else that you want the person to actually do. So what you need to do is test lots of different audiences, and this is where the ad set comes in. So let's say, for example, you sell a posture corrector on Amazon and you want to advertise on Facebook to get people with back problems to click on the ad and to buy the posture corrector. Now, it might not just be people with back problems that are interested in your posture corrector. It could be people that are interested in fitness or physiotherapy, and even deeper into that, it could be a certain age demographic. So it could only be people between the ages of 40 and 60 who are more likely to have back problems. Or again, it could be people that earn a certain amount. So maybe only people that are on more than £30,000 per year can afford your product, and things like that. The truth is that you just don't know until you've tested it. So the purpose of ad sets, it's plural, is for you to tell Facebook what audiences or audience you want to see your adverts. Now, the fantastic thing about Facebook, as I referenced earlier, is that it's got a huge amount of data points. It's got billions of users, and it's just got like a crazy amount of information about each of those. So when you are telling Facebook what type of person you want to see your advert, you can get so granular. It's actually ridiculous, and I spent a bit of time like looking through it. You can do things like people that are thinking about going on holiday, people that have recently come back on holiday, people that are getting married, people that are getting divorced, all things like that that you would probably not be able to target like 20 years ago easily anyway. You wouldn't be able to do that laser targeting. So Facebook allows you to do real laser targeting, and it's in the ad set where you tell it who exactly you want to see your advert. And then finally, the ad itself. Now, this is fairly self-explanatory. You've probably seen these millions of times on Facebook, where you see either some text and an image, or a video. Basically, the ad part of your Facebook ad itself is the creativity, where you basically say to Facebook, this is what I want you to show the audience that I have chosen. So hopefully now that we've run through that together, you've got a good or a better understanding of how Facebook ads work. If you still are a bit confused, don't worry. This is something that quite confused me as well when I was first learning about Facebook ads. What I would do is just pause this frame here and just have a quick read through again those bullets that I've written. But the key thing to remember is you always set your campaign first. The campaign is where you tell Facebook exactly what you're trying to do with your advert. Then the ad set is where you tell Facebook who you want to target with your advert. And then the ad itself is self-explanatory. That's the advert. So this is how a typical Facebook ad setup might look like. So as mentioned before, you'd always start with your campaign, which is where you tell Facebook the aim of your ad. And then after that, this is where you would basically start creating multiple ad sets, because as I mentioned earlier, Facebook ads are all about testing. Just because you sell, say, footballs, doesn't mean that men that play football are going to be interested in purchasing from you. The key with Facebook ads is all about testing different audiences that you think might work, and then basically optimizing and refining as soon as you start to see what the data shows. So in this example here, we've got 3 ad sets. So let's just say, for example, we were selling footballs. We could say in this first one here, we're targeting men between the ages of 18 and 30 that play football once a week and that earn a certain amount. And then here you could say, okay, let's target men from a certain part of the UK that play football or that watch football. And then in the third one, again, you could say maybe women. You want to target women that play football that are from the UK or something like that. Again, you never really know what works until you actually test it with Facebook. Obviously, you do have to be sensible. We're not going to target, men that hate football. So you do have to be sensible and kind of use your head. But the key with these ad sets is all about testing multiple sets. And then beyond that, we've then got the ad itself. So again, with Facebook, it's all about testing. You don't know that an advert that you've created is going to work until you try it. So typically what it's advised to do is to create a couple of ads and then plug them into your ad set so that your audience sees all your different ads, and then you can kind of see which ones work and which ones don't. Okay, so that is how Facebook ads are set up, like the very basics of it. Hopefully that's clear now. Now let's kind of run through Facebook jargon. So if you're going to be advertising on Facebook, or if you're going to be learning about Facebook, then these are all the different words that I came across most frequently that you are definitely going to need to know in order to be able to have a good chance of being successful with Facebook. So the first piece of jargon is retargeting. So the word retargeting. Now this essentially means that you are showing your advert to somebody that is familiar with your brand or your product or your website or anything like that. And the reason that we know that that person is familiar is because we are retargeting them based on an action that that person has taken. So that could be something like they've engaged with your web page before, so they've visited your website, or they've clicked on your Facebook ad, or they've liked it, or they've sent you a message, or something like that. That person has had some form of interaction with you before. So basically Facebook knows that they are aware of you, and with that information, they know to show an advert to them again. Now, retargeting with Facebook is incredibly important to understand. The main reason being, when you show an advert to somebody that is already familiar with you, they're known as like a warm prospect. So they're far more likely to do whatever action you want them to do. So click onto your advert or make a purchase from you than a person who has never ever heard of you is before. So retargeting is very, very important, and Facebook makes it very easy to do because of something called the Facebook Pixel. Now, the Facebook Pixel is essentially your own unique piece of code that you are given when you create a Facebook ad that you can put onto your website, and it's really easy these days. Websites like Shopify and Wix do it all for you. So you put it onto your website, and then whenever somebody visits your website, that piece of code will essentially match their Facebook user ID to your ad account. So it will say to Facebook, okay, Jansen Smith has just visited our website, mark it against their name. And as soon as it does that, I would find, for example, if the pixel had triggered against me, that when I go on Facebook, I'm now shown adverts that are from that company if they're advertising. Now, the reason that this is so useful is that effectively Facebook will keep track of every single visitor that you have to your website or wherever your pixel is stored, and with that it will build an audience for you. So when you are going onto your Facebook Ads Manager, you can say, okay, I want to show an advert just to people that have visited my website in the last 30 days, and Facebook does it all for you. You don't need to do anything provided that you have got that pixel installed. So pixels and retargeting kind of go hand in hand. You can't do retargeting based on people that have visited your website if you don't have a pixel. So if you are making your own website, if you've got your own Shopify store or Wix store or ClickFunnels, make sure you install the pixel whether you're advertising now or not, so that in the future, if you do decide to start advertising, you can easily just say to Facebook, I want to target people that visited my website in the last 6 months or whatever. Then the next piece of jargon that you'll come across that I saw and I didn't know what it meant for ages is CPM, which means cost per 1,000 impressions. So when you're doing your advertising, you'll be shown your data reports and it will say CPM, say 20p or something, which means that you are paying 20p per 1,000 times that your advert is seen. So that's the next one, impressions, how many times your advert is seen by somebody. Then next we've got CPA, which is cost per action. So let's say, for example, the action that you wanted to set was a purchase and you were running a Facebook ad campaign and you spent £20 on an advert for a day and you got 2 sales. Well, your cost per action would therefore be £10. So this is a really good metric to kind of look at to work out whether your Facebook ads are profitable or not. Because let's say our cost per action was £10, but our profit was, I don't know, £5, then straight away you know that that advert is not profitable. Then the next two, which I'll refer to in a bit more detail on the next slide, are custom audiences and lookalike audiences. Now, a custom audience is a saved audience that is determined or provided by you based on a number of different factors. Now, if you'll remember earlier on in the video, we were talking about ad sets where we were selling like footballs to men who like football. So if we were to save that audience, men who like football, well, that's a custom audience, because then we can then use that again in the future on other ads. We can literally just go onto our custom audiences and click men who like football. And the thing with Facebook is there are tons and tons of filters. So you could select men who like football that live in London, men who like football that are a certain age, and so on and so forth. And if you save those, well, that's a custom audience. Now, additionally, what you can also do is provide information to Facebook based on like a customer list or something that you've got in order to create a custom audience. So let's say, for example, with Amazon FBA, if you sell using Amazon, what you can do is download a list of all of your customers, their name and their address, and you can provide that information to Facebook, and Facebook really cleverly will essentially get that list and they will match it to its Facebook users. And then from that, they've created a custom audience for you. So one thing that you can do, for example, to increase your sales is download your Amazon FBA sales, import them into Facebook, create a custom audience, and then you can start advertising to that audience, to people that have bought from you before. And you can say, hey, we've got another product now with the same brand. Would you like to buy it as an existing customer? And things like that. So that is really, really handy to increasing your sales even more using Facebook ads. And then with a lookalike audience, now again, this is where Facebook becomes incredibly clever and uses all of the data that it has. And this is where you say to Facebook, okay, based on the audience that I've just given you, so my Amazon FBA customers, I want you to go out and create another audience of people that are very similar, that look very similar to the audience that I just provided you. And this is probably one of the most powerful forms of Facebook advertising, where you use lookalike audiences. Because let's say, for example, with Amazon, you've sold 500 products and you've got a list of 500 customers, and you want to essentially have other people that will buy from your product. Now, what else is better than using your existing customer base as an example of people that are very likely to buy your products in the future? So that's exactly what Facebook does. It will look at an audience that you provide it with. So say, for example, people that have bought from you from Amazon, or people that have bought off your website or visited your website. And it will look at that group of people and say, okay, we've done loads of analysis on these people. We know that from looking at this huge amount of data, most of them are men, most of them are aged between 30 and 35, most of them like football, and so on and so forth. And it will get really, really analytical on that, like far more analytical than I could describe in words. And then it will go out and it will find a huge audience that's very similar. So with that, when you are advertising to lookalike audiences, typically, if done right, they can be very, very profitable, because straight away you're not having to do as much testing. You are marketing and advertising to an audience that Facebook knows is likely to be interested in whatever it is that you're advertising. So guys, that was literally the past 3 months worth of my learning and understanding of Facebook ads, condensed into one small package just for you guys. Hopefully you have learned something from this. If you are finding it a bit tricky to understand, feel free to post a comment in the comment section below and I'll do my best to answer it. It can be a bit complex and tricky to understand at times, but it's one of those things that the kind of, as soon as you start doing it yourself, a bit like Amazon FBA, it becomes a lot easier to understand. So hopefully you've learned something from this video, guys. If you have, please do remember to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time for another tutorial video.